Hello everyone, welcome to this particular video. A lot of time, if you are working on Azure, it's very useful to have a Windows server. It could be 12, 16 or even 19 to have available to do a lot of things that you would end up doing in an Azure environment. A lot of times you can deploy that Windows server in a Azure environment and always do your testing from that particular virtual machine that is running. On the downside is that with that approach is once you deploy and it's running, you will end up paying for the machine when you're not using it, right? Or even when it's using it, you're still paying for it. So another option that I would like to recommend is just get uh, your local installation of your Windows Server. And Microsoft, if you go to Microsoft, they're going to give you 6 months evaluation copy. If you're preparing for an exam or something, like even for Azure account, that comes on the 1 month where you have full access. So that 6 months coverage is more than enough to give you time to evaluate that version. So I like to use Debian as my preferred operating system, but I want to show you how to install the VirtualBox. First, let me just quickly see if I have VirtualBox even installed here in my machine. So I already have the VirtualBox. Okay, so there are many multiple ways to install VirtualBox. So two things that I always recommend. So you go to the Ubuntu software section. Okay, that should be your preferred way to install things. Some of you Linux gurus may disagree, but that's what is my preferred way. I always start here. So if I have a solution that is already coming from my software center, and in this case I do not have a directly available, now I do. So what all you need to do is come over here, just click on it, and it should update, install the VirtualBox, and that should give you the best experience for you. You can also do it manually if you like it. So like I just went to the VirtualBox website, there is a really big instruction, like if you have portable Linux, what command you need to run. If you are using Debian, what command you're running. So you need to add some stuff to your repository. So this is not part of your regular repository, so you add that, you run your commands to update your repository and get the stuff. So and then once you update your repo, you can install VirtualBox, right? So for the RPM based like Red Hat, CentOS, you have to do that kind of stuff. Import this, you gotta wget that file, and then you gotta run the installation. Okay, so for this video I'm not going to show you how to install this one. I think you are good enough to do that yourself. But the other part is the Windows installation for a Windows server. So for that, what we can do, we can do a search for Windows Server, say go with 2019 evaluation version. Okay, so if I go to the web now and try Windows evaluation, so let's just click one of those links and Windows Server evaluations. Let's see if it's giving me the 2019. Here's my 2019. Now see, you have three different options. Okay, you can download the ISO file, you can test it in Azure, and you can also use a virtual hard drive to test it. Now if you get the ISO version, you will have to install everything by yourself. If you click on Azure, it will take you to the Azure environment, and it will say create an account and just install and just test out Windows 2019. For the VHD is where it's going to give you, it's pre-installed, and you're going to have a virtual hard disk that you should be able to use with a VirtualBox or some other program that can run a virtual hard disk file. So let's go with this one for this particular purpose and see what happens. So here it gives you some information that you need to fill out. So if I use something like that, and then if I continue, so now it's asking me to download. So all I need to do is save file, and I'm now downloading the file. So it's going to take a little bit of time. So once this download is complete, we'll come back and I'll show you how to configure your VirtualBox environment so you can start using this virtual hard disk file and have a Windows server ready instantly that you can use and play with. Stay with me. Okay everyone, welcome back. My file for the Windows server is now downloaded. So now I need to configure my virtual machine or VirtualBox to have that available to us. Okay, so let's go and try to find our VirtualBox. So if I open up my VirtualBox instance, I really don't have too much. What I have, I can get rid of it. Let's see, delete. Where is my delete, remove? I don't need this. So delete all files. So now I have nothing. And over here, what you need to do, I think for this one, I'm gonna go with. This is asking for an appliance to import, so let's not do that. Machine, let's try to add a new machine. Okay, so let's call it Windows Server 2019, right? That's what. Machine folder is fine. Type Windows. If we have a server, we pick it up. It doesn't have the version. I'm just gonna say other version, 64-bit Windows. Let's give it a good bit of memory. So that should be enough. Hit next, and here what we're gonna do, use an existing hard drive file. So this is what we have downloaded, and this time I'm going to point it to the file that we have already downloaded. Okay, and then hit open, and I'll just say choose, and then I'll say create. Okay, we name it wrong, Windows Server, but you know what we wanted to do. So once you have that's pretty much all you need. Then you can just click start. So that should start up my Windows Server 2019. Look at that. So this is what I recommend, that if you have a Linux box that you primarily use, just like myself, definitely use this feature. You can download the ISO file if you want to go through the installation and everything. Go ahead and do that. But if you want to just not go through the installation process, just have everything pre-installed and ready to go, you can definitely use that. Okay. So at the end, what I want to say that this, now you have another local instance of a server where you can do stuff, learn more about the server, and just have it available. If you want to RDP to your Azure machine, you can use this one. From Windows, I use time to time different RDP client, but some of the RDP clients, they have the limitations. But from this Windows server that you have just created, now I can use this to go to any of the Windows VM. If I choose to deploy within Azure, I can do that. Okay, it's taking a little bit of time to load, and this is loading for the first time, so I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds and be back. And once we log in, we'll pause the video or end the video. Alright, for the first time it took just a little bit to load the initial page, and it's asking for some questions over here. We are just gonna take a look at it. Close that view, and I need So you see that next button is a little weird, so almost like I don't have enough space to click on it. So just go through this, and this is asking for you about your preferred language and all of that, your license stuff. So just read all of that, and of course accept the license. And it's going to ask you to create your administrative username, and it's just administrator, looks like the built-in administrator account. So let's just create a password for that. Okay, once I have that, I'm just going to say finish. So that is going to finalize the setup of my Windows Server 2019. Okay, hopefully you have right name for your server. Yeah, so that is pretty much all you need to do to configure and have a Windows server available to you. Alright, now it's giving me our very familiar Windows login window. So you just need to do Ctrl+Alt+Delete and log in and start your work. Okay, if you're using the Linux, just make sure just to log in and make sure that get in and verify that your login is working just fine. One last thing I wanted to tell you that I had a little bit of trouble when you first time trying to get into this VirtualBox. Although the Windows screen will tell you to press Ctrl+Alt+Delete, it may not work, and you need to fix that by understanding what is your host key. And all you need to do, instead of Ctrl+Alt+Delete, you have to press the host key plus the delete button to get into the virtual machine. So let's do that and make sure that you understand how to do it properly. Okay, so that's something we will do before we close this lab. Alright, so you are here. So if you see, it says press Ctrl+Alt+Delete, but if you try to pressing Ctrl+Alt+Delete in Ubuntu machine, it is not going to help you. So all you need to do, take your mouse, okay, and click somewhere inside. It's still not working. So what you need to do, let's try usually when you click on it, it does work. So in my Ubuntu machine, my host key is Control, and I know that, and sometimes that's available somewhere in here for input keyboard keyboard setting. It's not so here, so insert Ctrl+Alt+Del. so host key plus del is what you need to press on. That will be similar to doing Ctrl+Alt+Delete inside this VirtualBox. So what I need to do, I'm going to press Control and hit delete, and now look at that I am given the screen, and now I can enter the password that I have chosen for this particular virtual machine to log into the system. Okay, so I'm going to put that information in my video so it's crystal clear for you how to do that, and just go and have fun, and thanks for watching the video. Hope it was useful a bit for you. Good luck.